You know, what if destruction wasn't actually an end, but a new beginning? That's the huge idea we're going to dive into today with Shaivism. It's one of India's oldest and, honestly, most profound spiritual traditions. And it's a path that really centers on a deity who embodies that very concept, the powerful cosmic transformer, Shiva.
Okay, so let's really unpack this, because it's a big one. When we hear the word destroyer, our minds kind of go to a negative place, right? But in Shaivism, it's actually a vital, totally positive force. Think of it this way. Shiva is the power that dissolves the universe, not to just end everything, but to recreate it. It's all about clearing away the old, the stagnant, to make room for the new. So you've got this perpetual cycle of creation, preservation, and then transformation. And Shiva, he's the engine driving that whole cosmic dance.
All right, so where did this incredible idea of cosmic transformation even come from? To really get a handle on how deep this goes, we've got to journey way back. I'm talking thousands of years to trace its roots. We'll see how it went from just these earliest symbols to a fully formed, flourishing faith.
And what's so fascinating here is that this tradition didn't just appear out of thin air, not at all. Its origins are incredibly ancient. I mean, scholars have traced symbols that look a lot like Shiva all the way back to the Indus Valley civilization. From there, during the Vedic period, these ideas started to get more formalized. And then, bam! By around 200 to 500 BCE, Shaivism had absolutely blossomed into one of the major spiritual forces in India.
And you know, Shaivism wasn't just some abstract philosophy floating around in the ether. Nope, it had a real physical home. The faith truly took root and just thrived in the southern and western parts of India. These places became the absolute heartlands, the incubators where its unique devotional practices, its art, and its philosophy all developed and flourished for centuries.
Okay, so we've seen where it came from. But the big question is, how do people actually connect with this cosmic transformer? Let's dive into the sacred texts that built its foundation and the core practices that really defined what it meant to be on this path of devotion.
Right at the heart of the faith, you have these foundational texts. We're talking about the Shiva Purana, the Taittiriya Upanishad, and the Kailashnath texts. These are the absolute scriptural bedrock, and they do so much more than just tell stories. They formally establish Shiva as the supreme god. They lay out the rich philosophical principles that have guided millions, and I mean millions, of devotees on their spiritual journey.
And what becomes super clear when you look at the practices is that the path to Shiva wasn't some single narrow road. Oh no, it was more like a broad highway with a bunch of different lanes. For some people, it was all about intense inner discipline. We're talking austerity and asceticism. For others, it was about community rituals like puja, making offerings, or the sacred fire ceremony called yajna. And what's really beautiful is that it was also a path of pure creative expression, with dance and music becoming these incredibly profound forms of worship.
Now, the impact of Shaivism didn't just stay within the walls of temples or in personal practices. It overflowed. It spilled out into the wider world, fundamentally reshaping the cultural, artistic, and philosophical landscape of India in ways we can still see and feel today.
And one of its most significant impacts? It sparked the Bhakti movement. And this was, no exaggeration, a spiritual revolution in medieval India. The whole idea of a deep personal devotion to one single deity, which is so central to Shaivism, was a key influence that inspired this massive new wave of faith across the entire subcontinent.
And this was such a profound shift. Seriously. The Bhakti movement, with that Shaivite influence, really helped steer Indian spirituality away from all the complex formal rituals and moved it toward a direct, intense, and personal devotion to God. It basically democratized faith. It made it about a heartfelt, individual relationship with the divine that anyone could experience, no matter who you were or where you came from.
And you can see this incredible legacy everywhere. I mean, it is literally carved in stone. Just look at the breathtaking Kailashnath Temple. That's an entire temple complex carved out of a single piece of rock. It's just wow. But it's also woven into the beautiful verses of Tamil devotional poetry. And it's articulated in really sophisticated intellectual systems like the Shaiva Siddhanta philosophy. It just goes to show you how deep and how wide this influence really was.
And all of this leaves us with a final, really fascinating thought. It's the ultimate paradox of Shaivism, isn't it? The very same deity who represents endings, dissolution, and transformation is the one who has inspired some of the most enduring art, the most profound philosophy, and the most lasting monuments in human history. It kind of makes you think,
that maybe for creation to truly flourish, transformation isn't just an option. It's absolutely essential.